Okay, so 4 years into working my first job, and I'm certain that working in fast food has taught me more about people, leadership, and entrepreneurship than 15 years of formal education has so far. Now, most of you are probably wondering, what fictitious fast food place teaches their employees about people, business, and leadership? And others of you might have an idea. But I'll give you all a hint. Are you ready? Okay, so what fast food chain is known both for great food and genuine hospitality, as well as preventing crime and saving lives? Yeah. If you haven't guessed it already, it's Chick-fil-A. My name is Nathan Catapano. Oh, a little too early. My name is Nathan Catapano. I'm a junior at UConn. The founder of SwipeStorm, which is my startup. And if my introduction didn't give it away already, a team leader at Chick-fil-A. I've worked at Chick-fil-A for almost 4 years at the end of this month. Words cannot begin to describe how incredible my experience there really has been. Because just in a few short years, I've gone from this guy here. This is the picture I sent my mom 9 minutes before clocking into my first shift because she wanted to see what I looked like in my uniform. So I've been able to go from this guy here to an outgoing leader and now an entrepreneur. So today I want to talk about entrepreneurship education. In particular, why real-world experience is significantly more effective than formal education at teaching you how to be an entrepreneur. So without any further ado, let's amend the title slide and get right into it. So the first thing I've learned at Chick-fil-A is the importance of people. Specifically, how important it is to be surrounded by great people. Now, I know it's not a new idea, but I don't think most people really understand why it's so important to be surrounded by great people. And that is because they have the ability to motivate, inspire, and push you beyond your current limits. For example, there's Jermaine here, who inspires me with his heart. Jermaine has the ability to bring out the best in people simply by being himself. And whenever I work with Jermaine, I can't help but feel inspired and compelled to want to learn more from him. And then there's Frank here. Frank motivates me with his hardworking attitude and enthusiasm. He makes every shift feel like an adventure. And without Frank, I don't think I would have felt motivated enough to take the leap into leadership. And then there's Todd. This is my boss, aka the owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Wallingford, where I've worked at for the past 4 years. This time, Todd has taught me more about leadership and entrepreneurship than a 4-year degree ever could. More specifically, Todd has taught me Chick-fil-A's model of leadership, which is servant leadership. Servant leadership quite literally flips traditional leadership on its head because some leaders think they exist to be served by others, that they're in charge and that people work for them. Those aren't leaders, those are dictators. And the most important thing I've learned from Chick-fil-A and Todd is that great leaders work for their team, not the other way around. And it is this attitude and leadership model that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life, not only in my leadership roles at work or at school, like in this program here, but in what's most important to me right now, my startup. So I want to take a moment to share a little bit about the founding of my startup, SwipeStorm. So most of you have either experienced the second mile service of Chick-fil-A employees, or at a bare minimum, you heard the stories, or you've heard other stories of them chasing after your car if they forgot their sauces. All in the name of delivering a great customer experience. However, mistakes do unfortunately happen. And ironically, the systems in place that are supposed to allow us and give us the ability to recover these guests and go the extra mile does the exact opposite. This is what we have to look for whenever there is an issue. We'll have to put your name down, and I challenge you to find somebody's name in this. And if you can manage to find somebody's name, if you can read to me what we're actually supposed to be doing to help them. So When I became a leader in the restaurant and I had to deal with these situations for guest recovery, and I saw this problem, I knew that I could use my skill set to solve it. So I went up to Todd and I told him, I'm going to turn this headache that we deal with every day into an app that's going to change the way we do guest recovery. So I began. We can go back one. So I began. Every moment that I wasn't at work or doing schoolwork, I was working on my app. I've spent countless hours developing the product, figuring out branding, and I even started an LLC. And earlier this year, I published my app onto the App Store. And now there are over 30 Chick-fil-A restaurants all across the country that pay for and use my app to recover their guests. Ever since I was 13, I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I even, don't worry about it, we'll get to this. Go back to that. I even taught myself how to code and how to make games because I knew that I wanted to start a game development company. So this was my first attempt at branding. As you see, we've come a long way. But thanks to Chick-fil-A, I gained the real-world experience that I needed to feel like I had the ability to go out there and fully dive into the world of entrepreneurship and start a startup. And I credit the success of SwipeStorm not to the business classes or the communications classes that I've taken at UConn. No, instead, I credit Todd and our incredible team at Chick-fil-A who inadvertently taught me how to be a great entrepreneur simply by being themselves and going the extra mile. Because after all, entrepreneurship isn't taught in a classroom. It's taught through real-world experience.